every year I just try to find new ways for people to get their hands dirty here.
Dude, you could probably run for mayor.
So I do it in steps. Like I'll bite off a big chunk like right after the last event, and I'll bite off another big chunk halfway through the year.
I truly believe that there is an opportunity to serve the community by creating platforms.
Whenever I find something that people are interested in, I try to find ways to expand on it.
Reviews on Amazon are the best place to find out what actually people want. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. This is your host, Steve. Today's guest is Handel from the Maker Camp. How you doing, Austin?
Good, Steve. How are you?
Good. Hey, so why don't you tell everybody about Maker Camp?
All right. So Maker Camp is a little event I started 5 years ago now at my family's resort in East Durham, New York. It is a grassroots maker event that focuses on hands-on classes and demonstrations in everything from wood turning, welding, blacksmithing, timber framing, leatherworking, and every year we're adding more and more and more. So,
Cool. Very cool. And what made you come up with the idea?
I don't really get a lot of time to go out and do things and like go to events and stuff like this. So when I kind of started getting into making. It was blacksmithing was kind of the thing that drew me in. I wanted to really meet all these cool people I was discovering on Instagram and whatnot, but I know that like running a family, but my family owns the resort that we hold Maker Camp at. So my time is spent almost entirely being here. So I had to figure out a way to kind of bring these people to me, and I had the idea, and I kind of put it to rest for a little while, and then I met Jimmy DiResta, and he backed me up completely and helped put me in touch with all the right people, and it's all kind of just gone from there.
That's awesome. How what was that first year like doing it?
The first year was fun. It was probably like 100 to 120 people, which
Hmm.
was twice as many as I ever expected to get. And we had a blacksmithing tent and a woodworking tent, and that was pretty much it. I think we just had two tents set up around the field. Um, Total Boat came out for the first year. I had a couple other companies that I said just come out for free, like just see what it's all about and see if it's something you can get on board with. And yeah, that first year kind of gave me just enough notoriety to do it the second year, but then COVID hit us, so we had to do that year virtually. But in the time in between, we picked up a lot of momentum, just doing other smaller events and little hammer-ins and get-togethers and stuff, and just kind of keeping the maker community momentum going in the town of East Durham.
And what was the result of that first year? Like what came out of that? Like, at least for you as a person that came up with the idea, like did you what did you feel like?
Oh, I think that's definitely like the biggest pivoting point in my life is kind of like I always tell people like I was telling you I'd seen all these awesome people on Instagram and stuff making incredible things, but I never really fathomed that there was this interconnected network of all of these makers and influencers that like I didn't realize that like everybody already knew each other for the most part, and they're like they were just looking for an excuse to come together and like share their skills with one another. So the first year was really, really transformative for me. It was very humbling, a little overwhelming, but it's been really good. And I've got a great team of people that help me out with planning, and I've got my family works with me every day. They help with all the logistics and making all the tents happen and all that jazz. And it's been a really interesting ride, but a really good one.
Um what how long does it take to actually plan it?
I usually start a couple days after it's over.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, just
Uh,
I mean I do it in steps. Like I'll bite off a big chunk like right after the last event, and I'll bite off another big chunk halfway through the year, and then I'll usually leave myself more than enough to do for the last month. So that's kind of the phase I'm in now.
what so you're 5 years in. What was the when does it normally come out?
It's October 6th to the 9th. It's always Columbus Day weekend.
Okay. Um, and how is this year much different than last year? What have you noticed in terms of like what the community wants, and how have you been serving that through the Maker Camp?
Um, honestly, I think the main the main goal of Maker Camp is an opportunity for people to get together and get their hands dirty. I just every year I just try to find new ways for people to get their hands dirty here.
Yeah.
It's a kind of an easy concept to expand on because the maker community is so all encompassing. There's so many different skills and trades that can be considered makers. So like this year, I'm starting with stone cutting. I have somebody coming and teaching people how to quarry stone like the old-fashioned way, like they've been doing for thousands of years. I think it's a medium that like not a lot of people have really had experience with, but I think once they maybe get that one little taste of it and that like understand the basic fundamentals of how it works, it can be implemented into a lot of different kinds of mediums. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my goal there. Like whenever I find something that people are interested in, I try to find ways to expand on it. Like last year I had Curtis Neiman teaching silversmithing classes and people really liked it. So I've got somebody doing some cold form metal smithing. I've got somebody doing some like wire wrap jewelry and just like basic like shape cutting and things like that. Kind of just trying to develop the skill set that people can, I guess, develop the skill set that people can develop just being here. Same with like the welding tent. Every year I'm adding new things to kind of further people's experience in each of the individual fields.
How many people are coming this year?
This year we're expecting between 750 and 800.
Incredible, Austin. That's incredible.
Thank you.
That's so cool. Um, and this is obviously your biggest year.
Yeah. Yep. Every year it's grown substantially, and it's cool because it's kind of becoming like an international event. Last year I had attendees from Norway, Japan, Germany, UK, west coast of Canada. Like it's kind of cool. One of my goals with this was kind of putting my sleepy little town of East Durham on the map, and seeing all these people coming here from all over the world for this has been very rewarding.
That's awesome. And I'm assuming. And what's the setup? Is it like you literally camp, or is there housing or lodging?
So the Blackthorn, which is where we hold Naked Camp, my family's resort, we have 84 rooms on site. There's 100 acres in total. So 84 rooms. We have a big event field. We have a big covered pavilion with a bar and food service out of it. And then we set up tents around the perimeter of the field. That's where I do all the classes and demonstrations and all that. And then we have tons and tons of tent sites and tons of RV sites right on the property as well.
Sick. Um, and how? So you said it's about 3 days, right?
Yeah, so everybody gets here on Friday. I have classes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then everybody usually just says their goodbyes and goes home on Monday.
It must be like the vibe must be like last day of school at the last day, right? Like you don't want to leave your friends.
I compare it a lot to like going to like a high school party where like
Yeah.
I don't know you see your friends from different schools that you don't see a lot, and like it's you're bouncing from group to group, and every year there's just that many more people that you met the year before that you can't wait to hang out with. It's a very cool vibe.
And typically, who are the types of people that show up? Is it mainly woodworkers, or it's like broad makers? Like who do you tend to
Uh,
attract more?
it's there's a lot. I mean, I think the thing you'll see most commonly at Nature Camp is woodworkers trying out blacksmithing or welding, or welders trying out woodworking. It's a lot of nobody goes there to do what they normally do. Um,
Yeah.
it's but then we have sewers, fabricators, computer programmers. Like it's everybody, from blue collar to white collar. It's very diverse.
What where do you go from here? Like how big do you want it to go? And are you doing this full time as well?
So Maker Camp is kind of like my passion project. I help my family run the
Run
Blackthorn full
there's
time.
Yeah.
That's a very all-consuming kind of a job, but Maker Camp is a good way for me to still be productive and not and just have something that I'm happy doing.
Some
Um,
beyond it's like your passion side hustle project.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So where do you want to take it?
So I would never want it to get to a point where it's like a trade show where there's thousands of people throughout the weekend and you're not really interacting. You're kind of just stopping at a booth, grabbing a souvenir, and going to the next one.
Grabbing a
I
bag full of swag. Yeah.
exactly. I think my cutoff for what the Blackthorn could like comfortably handle capacity wise would probably be somewhere around 1,000, maybe 1,200. But I've been very intentionally trying to grow this slowly and incrementally each year, so I can kind of. I always want to make sure that I have enough things for everybody to do. Like if you're going to spend the money to come out here, I want to make sure that you're not disappointed. I'd rather have 600 really really happy people than get 1,000 people here and only half of them have a good time. You know.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. What was a surprise aha moment that you had as you were putting together this camp?
Um, the, I guess the first surprise was that people were actually getting behind it. Like I wasn't totally convinced that it was an idea that would sell, that people would really get behind. But Jimmy was the one that was very like awesome. Like this is a good idea. Like we're this is gonna be big. It's gonna be big. So that was the first one. Just figuring out that there were people that actually wanted to do this and wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that I found as like a community builder myself is that whatever need that you are looking to fill yourself, there's more likely that there's people out there that want the same thing.
Hmm.
And if it doesn't exist, you should be the one that go out and create it. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the maker
Yeah.
community particularly is super super supportive, and like I have this whole committee of people that they're I mean they're taking days off of work to help me with things, and they're driving up to Blackthorn to meet with me. Like it's and they all they want is to see this thing continue to happen and want to be a part of it. Like I was saying before, it's really humbling. Like it takes a while getting used to the fact that people really just want to see this do well because they believe in it.
That's so cool, man. So if you're friends with Jimmy, you're probably friends with Patrick Reynolds too.
Oh yeah, Patrick and I
Okay.
are thick as thieves.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, he's a good guy. And I think I met him through Jimmy or vice versa. But that's so cool, man. So so you're a couple months out. I think this will probably come out. Maybe we'll get this podcast out earlier so you can get some. How can people join? Like what's your website?
So
Like
we
you
are
still have
all
tickets
sold out
available?
of. We do have tickets available.
Okay.
We're sold out of rooms at the Blackthorn. We sold out about a week after the last Maker Camp, but we
Sick.
have silver passes, which is the all 3 days of the weekend includes any classes you want to take, and it comes with free camping at the Blackthorn. So a lot of
Cool.
people don't really want to tent camp in October. Some people don't mind, but there's a lot of other options. The town of East Durham has probably six other hotels in it as well. There's RV share, which is like Airbnb for RVs. They'll bring the RV
Yeah.
right to the resort. You can stay right there, and then there's a lot of Airbnbs in the area too.
Dude, you could probably run for mayor. Like you're like bringing a whole bunch of economy dollars to your town because of this event, right? Like 800 people are going to know more about your town than possible. Have you taken like you know what I'm curious about? Like I'm convinced. So like I before I did this, I ran an organization. And most of my listeners know I ran an organization. It was like a nonprofit. It filled a need that I had, and it served other people. And I got all these unintended sort of results or benefits as a result. Like, has that happened to you? Have you like been put in like either leadership positions or gotten different opportunities as a result of like taking this risk? It's a big risk to put yourself out there, put your family's business out there, right? Like put yourself out there in terms of this community and then have it be well received. Have you had these like interesting cool opportunities that came up as a result of it?
I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy. Brunt Workwear sent me a pair of boots, and I was
Yeah.
I was over the moon about it. you know, um, yeah, like I've been saying, it's been really really humbling.
Yeah.
I have like Avid CNC. They came and sponsored the event last year, and they did plasma cutting. And they said, well, we really like this and we want to keep coming here. How about we just give you this plasma table to keep here, and now we have one on site, and we'll maintain it for as long as we're involved with the event. And
Sick.
so like I mean, in that respect, it's been cool. I'm able to. I'm a blacksmith, metal worker. That's like my kind of my passion in the maker world. So like
Yeah,
I've been able to form relationships with like Coal Iron Works, who for most people getting into blacksmithing, that's not a company you're really considering buying anything from for a long time. But
a
like
long
I've been
time.
able
Yeah.
to, through doing these classes and building kind of this maker space here at the Blackthorn, I'm able to source tools that I wouldn't normally have access to, and make contacts. I mean, Mareko Malmasi was somebody I had followed for years before I started doing Maker Camp. I've got his number in my phone now, and like I'm able to call him and ask him for knife making advice and things like that. So it's been really rewarding. Just I'd say more than just like the tools I've been getting, but like the people I now are able to call friends and acquaintances and colleagues. It's a resource that keeps on giving.
Dude, I'm stoked to be talking to you, man. That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, I mean, for the listeners here, I do my best to highlight all of the different types of entrepreneurs within the wood making, lumber, furniture space. And I've interviewed content creators and furniture makers and designers and what have you. And I truly believe that there is an opportunity to serve the community by creating platforms. So like I have a platform, now you have a platform, like you're bringing people together, and serving them is an actual business model. Like creating community is a business model. And what that does is it enables you to create a set of skills, a particular set of skills that you develop and you learn, and it puts you in a leadership position. And you get to, I truly believe that if you have the stomach for it and you have the personality type, I don't know about you, but like I love and I get energy from people. But then when I'm done, I'm like, I just want to squirrel away for a little bit, just like refocus,
Yeah.
like not be around the energy. But you get the energy from people, don't you?
Oh yeah. I was talking to Kristen, who runs Workbench Con. They do it
Yeah.
down in Jordan every year. And her and I have experienced the same thing where after the event, it's just like you have this buzz going for a couple of weeks. Just like
Mm-hmm.
the positivity is overwhelming almost after these events. Just people are really grateful for the opportunity to just gather and be together.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's so awesome. All right, so this is a part of podcast when I give you any marketing or business advice. Is there anything that you need help with, or any challenges that you're struggling with that I can give you any advice on?
Um, I guess one of my questions would be kind of woodworking specific, but I've heard from some people and other people it's totally opposite. But I've heard from some people that serious woodworkers don't necessarily look at my event as an opportunity to like develop skills or anything like that. What are some areas of the woodworking industry that I could offer and to kind of develop in my event to attract the more serious woodworker?
Great question. So it's basically you have this platform, and people, a particular segment of your niche, you're not necessarily attracting them, right?
Yeah.
So I guess, uh, do you have epoxy classes? Do you do
Hmm.
those? Okay.
Yep. It's all about
Um,
sponsoring.
do you have I mean, for serious woodworkers, it's either around developing and growing their business, and or uh learning new skills. And so, I mean, these are things that you're doing already. Like if you can, I mean, do you, for people that are hosting the classes, do you give them like honorariums or speaker fees or what have you?
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, find the biggest, baddest like maker out there, and then literally have them curate a course, or a series of, and put out content leading up to it, and potentially even go out. So I know that you're sold out for this year, but like next year, like literally go out and just say, what skills are, people doing? Get the top 5 influencers in that niche, look in their comments to see what questions people are asking in terms of their techniques, and then literally go to those comments and just like, hey, would you want to do something like this?
That's a really good idea.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, but don't go to the influencer, go to their audience who are busy asking their questions. So like I would look at somebody like Blacktail Studio. People love his stuff. Like, yeah, what's that? The Four Eyes guy, right? Four Eyes Furniture, or some of these, content creators, their audiences are gold for finding out what to actually build community around. Okay. And then what I would do after that is take all of your, and I'm sure you have a videographer documenting the weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Create a cut just on woodworking stuff, right? Create like an edit, a video edit just on your woodworking stuff, and then start running ads to it and putting out free content and building a community of woodworkers. And then 6 to 8 months from next year, start connecting with them and giving them, do the whole thing, like early bird pass, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you don't need that much. And even if you can identify who are the woodworkers coming, find out what they actually need. Like, what skills are they looking for? And then from there, like, see, if you can, in a short period of time, find somebody really fast. I know you might be booked, but like, give it to them, right? Get feedback and then reiterate and scale. Like what you did for blacksmithing or silversmithing or the quarry stuff, like stone cutting, like literally do the same thing, but you have to find the people that are serving the serious woodworkers, and it actually might be a tool company. It might be a tool company, or it might be a brand, and then going to them and then serving their audience. Looking in the comments of your ideal sponsors, because then they can, like, shoot, if you could get Festool, which is like the serious, right? You get them and you go through their comments, you start building a community there, serving them, be like, hey, look, 10% of my audience or 20% of my audience are Festool users. I'd love to do, I'm sure, because they have their whole ambassador program too, right? I mean, I think you have people that attend your maker camp, like they're Festool ambassadors, like target those. So like target the influencers, target the brands, look through their comments, engage with their audience, and then from there, just build a program. Take your existing assets, like your videos, create edits based off theirs, and just retarget all of those people. You know what I mean? I think you got to create something truly, truly special. And it's like we're doing like the woodworking, advanced track for the weekend. At the end of it, you're going to learn, dovetail, joinery, whatever. You're going to build out a little skill set specifically for them to take their woodwork. You could do one just on finishes. Oh, geez. Like you could do one specifically just on finishes. Yeah. That's something that all woodworkers truly, truly want. Is that helpful?
Very, very. Even if you said nothing but look in the comments for what people are looking for, that would have been that alone. I've never even thought to use the comment section as a resource, but it's probably the best resource for what people are really looking to know.
Yeah. I mean, the comment section on YouTube, comment sections on Instagram, comment sections on Amazon. Whoo! On Amazon, those reviews on Amazon are the best place to find out what actually people want. The bad reviews, the good reviews.
Hmm.
Those are the things that I would look towards. But I mean, dude, I look, if you could create something that is community driven, affordable, and is serving a specific need, I mean, you can get people, like you said, from all over the world to come in and visit, because then they create that experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
Huh. Very cool.
Awesome, man. Hey, what's your website and Instagram for Maker Camp?
Maker Camp Instagram is at the Maker Camp, and then the website is catskillmountainmakercamp.com.
Cool. Austin, thank you so much for your time. And good luck this year.
Thank you, Steve.
All right.
Take care.